Hello everyone, it is Earth Day today, isn't it? Because it's the 22nd of April. You know that already because of yesterday's assembly. Before I start today's assembly, I want to show you a picture of, let me get out of the way, of Raven's class who, after watching yesterday's assembly, have done some bird watching and they have also thought about what makes trees brilliant. So thank you very much to Raven's class. Thank you very much to Miss Thomas. That put a huge smile on my face this morning when I saw those pictures. Today's Earth Day, as I've said, and the theme for this year's Earth Day is about restoring the Earth. That means that we're going to try and leave the Earth in a better condition than we were given it when we arrived here. To do that, we need to think really carefully about how we can be responsible for the Earth. And I know that we already know a few different ways we can do that. What I wanted to do this morning was I wanted to make sure I was reading you a book where the character was responsible. And I was struggling to find a book. But I went and spoke to Mr. Knowles, who knows a lot about books, and he shared a book with me, which is here. The book is called The Salamander Room. What do you think this book is about? Have a conversation in your classrooms. Okay, I hope you've had a nice conversation. I'm going to start reading you the book, and then at the end, I'm going to talk to you about what I think the book is about. So, here's the first page. It says, Brian found a salamander in the woods. It was a little orange salamander that crawled through the dried leaves of the forest floor. The salamander was warm and cosy on the boy's hand. Come and live with me, Brian said, and he took the salamander home. Where will he sleep? His mother asked. I will make him a salamander bed to sleep in. I will cover him with leaves that are fresh and green, and bring moss that looks like little stars to be a pillow for his head. I will bring crickets to sing him to sleep, and bullfrogs to tell him good night stories. Brian's being very responsible, isn't he, for his little salamander? Let's see what he has to do next. And when he wakes up, where will he play? I will carpet my room with shiny wet leaves and water them so that he can slide around and play. I will bring tree stumps into my room so that he can climb up the bark and sun himself on top. I will bring him boulders that he can creep over. Seems to me like Brian's being quite responsible for the salamander, although it might not have been responsible to bring him there in the first place. He's now thinking about how he can change his environment so it fits the salamander better. Let's read on. He will miss his friends in the forest. I will bring salamander friends to play with him. That seems like a good idea, doesn't it? Let's look at the next page. I'm just going to move myself out of the way a little bit more. They will be hungry. How will you feed them? I will bring insects to live in my room, and every day I will catch some and feed the salamanders. I will make little pools of water on top of the boulders so that they can drink whenever they are thirsty. He's going to a lot of work, isn't he, Brian, to make sure that his room is fit for a salamander. I wonder what his mum's going to say about having a load of insects in her house. I'm not sure that I would be that keen if my daughter brought insects home. The insects will multiply, and soon there will be bugs and insects everywhere. I will find birds to eat the extra bugs and insects, and bullfrogs to eat them too. What do you think his mother's going to say about that? Where will the birds and the bullfrogs live? I will bring trees for the birds to roost in and make ponds for the frogs. Birds need to fly. We can lift off the ceiling. They will sail out into the sky. But they will come back to my room when it's time for dinner because they will know that the biggest, juiciest insects are here. But the trees, how will they grow? The rain will come through the open roof and the sun too, and the vines will creep up the walls of my room, and ferns will grow under my bed. There will be big white mushrooms like moss, and moss like little stars growing around the tree stumps that the salamanders can climb. It doesn't sound much like a bedroom anymore, does it? And you? Where will you sleep? I will sleep on a bed under the stars with the moon shining through the green leaves of the trees. Owls will hoot and crickets will sing, and next to me, on the boulder, with its head resting on the soft moss, the salamander will sleep. And there you can see Brian and his salamander asleep. They look very peaceful together. So, now that we've finished the book, what do you think this book was about? I'm going to tell you what I think the book was about. I think the book was about responsibility. And I think the book was about Brian being responsible for his salamander. A salamander can't live comfortably in a normal bedroom, can it? So Brian's had to change his bedroom completely. And that's kind of like the message of Earth Day this year. Brian was responsible for the salamander, and he made changes so that the salamander could live the life that it should. We need to think about the changes that we can make in our environment and the changes that we can make for the whole world and the environment of the whole world. And that's what Earth Day is about. So, we'll start by thinking about school. What are you responsible for in our school? How can you be responsible when you're playing in the woods? How can you be responsible when you're moving around school? I've noticed some things that aren't brilliant in our school. I've noticed that lights get left on. I've noticed that there's litter on the playground and in the woods. So perhaps you could start with those small acts of responsibility of changing those things so that we're not being wasteful and so that our woods are clean and the trees and the plants can grow. Maybe you could be responsible by not walking over the mud so that the plants can grow, because if you trample on them, they won't be able to. Earth Day this year is all about restoring our world. We're going to work on restoring our school first of all, aren't we? So, I hope you enjoy the rest of Earth Day. I hope to see out in the woods people being respectful and responsible for the area, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye.